welcome to this edition of Social Security Today. I'm your host, Jeffrey Rodriguez. I'm the Public Affairs Specialist with Social Security Administration here in the Orange County area. And I hope you're all doing well and had a wonderful Thanksgiving and that it was memorable for you. And today I'm going to have a special guest with me that I'll later introduce, Yolanda York, who's the Public Affairs Specialist down in San Diego. Also, we'll be covering some information about medical coverages, not only reminding you that we're in the last part, a few more days left open for the open enrollment in Medicare, but also another program that might come into play or that you can consider or may know someone that needs to consider it. As well, we'll look at some of the news, and then let me share a small story with you. In November, I was coming here to the center, into the recording studio here, and I met a lady as I was walking through the parking lot. And we were kind of discussing, it was a beautiful day as we normally have. The sun was out, it was nice and warm, and we were conversing, and she was from the East Coast, and I had spent many years out in Chicago, as I had mentioned before, and we were talking about the snowstorms that they were going through. And we both kind of mentioned how we're glad that we're in Southern California and enjoying this wonderful weather that we all have. But we also mentioned that what we miss most about the seasons was that you knew exactly when Christmas was coming up, because it really does start looking a lot like Christmas when that first snowfall hits. And so we, as just to remind us about the end of the season, we put together something that kind of ties into that holiday season, and we'll share that as we close, and Yolanda will be helping me with that, and I think you'll enjoy that. So let's kind of jump into the first point, which is that I just want to remind you, December 7th is just around the corner this Sunday. That's the last opportunity that you have. If you need to make any changes in your Medicare coverages, and you've talked about or you've thought about maybe jumping to a different program or anything of that nature, please make sure that you've talked to whoever you need to, whether it's through HICAP or whether you have already decided that that's what you're going to be doing and haven't taken action. You really need to do so before December 7th, or you're going to have to wait a whole year until next year to do so. So just as a reminder, December 7th is the last day that you can make any changes to your Medicare options. With that in mind, there's another program. Most people hear it by different names, but the true name of it is the Affordable Care Act. And that is right now is in their enrollment process. They started back in November 15th, and that will run through February 15th. And if I can go to that first slide, what I'd like to remind you in regards to the Affordable Care Act is that there's several things. One, it's been in place for several years now. And some of the key components of it is that as you register now, if you take action now, you'll be able to have it effective in January. If you wait a little longer and you get into next year, then it won't kick into the effect until the end of that open enrollment period. So you need to take action now. They have added 1,000 representatives to their 24-hour call center because they've realized that there was more people asking about the enrollment, about the process, about the options, and so they had to provide better coverage. So when you look at that, if you go on to and you start to get the information for that, what you can do, if we go to the next slide, you would look at the Healthcaregov. That is the website in which all of the Affordable Care Act information is housed. That's their official site. Once you go there and you get the information that you need, then what you can do is you can drill into, you can either through there plug in the information for California, or you can go right to coveredca.com, and that's for the Covered California. That is the same healthcare or that Affordable Care Act for the state of California. And that would be where you get the information if you need to take advantage of the Affordable Care Act. The Affordable Care Act is meant for those who don't qualify for Medicare yet. Maybe you're not age 65, or maybe you don't have coverage for Medicare, then Affordable Care Act would be the other option that you would have. So if you need that, I suggest that you visit their websites. Again, it's in open enrollment for the ACA up through February 15th. So if you're going to take advantage, act now, get the information that you need before that time runs out. So as I mentioned, I have a special guest with me, and Yolanda York is the public affairs specialist from San Diego. So Yolanda, thank you. It's good to have you with me. And I appreciate you taking out time of your schedule. I know how busy we are, and that you're here with us today. So how long have you been with Social Security?
Well, with Social Security, I've been here 36 years, and it is an excellent place to work. Social Security is such a fantastic program, and that's one of the reasons that, as a public affairs, I love sharing what Social Security can do for you.
Excellent. And I'm sure you have plenty of stories that you could share with us and things that you've seen. And we'll kind of glean off of that today as you're with me as we go through some of the information.
Let's do that.
Let's jump in. One of the areas, there was a article that talked about how government programs, specifically Social Security, is keeping people out of poverty. Can you touch on that a little bit and what you've seen?
Well, Social Security has 58 million people receiving benefits right now, and I can tell you that at the moment, Social Security has done so much to keep folks out of poverty. Generally, in addition to many statistics that we can get out there, it's 8.6 of Americans that are still living in poverty out of millions and millions of recipients. So Social Security is a fabulous program to keep folks out of poverty. But the most important thing that people need to know is creating a My Social Security account can help the rest of us know what benefits are available to us.
Yeah, you touch on a great point. I think it really starts for all of those people that would potentially be eligible for benefits, or to find out what they're eligible to. They really need to go on and create that My Social Security account. We talk about it often, and we'll preach about it constantly, because they really need to know what their options are, to take a look at their earning record. How important is it to keep that earning record current?
Oh, so incredibly important. I just had a gentleman 2 weeks ago who was in the audience, didn't know, he hadn't checked his record in years, but when he looked at that My Social Security account and found all of his earnings posted, he found out that 2007 earnings were missing. So he got on it, he brought us his W-2, and we were able to correct that within less than 30 days. This man is about to retire in the next 3 years. So having that information by correcting it today gives him, his guaranteed Social Security monthly benefit.
Definitely, and you see there, we have this graph, and it kind of goes through, and it's really talking about how we're keeping poverty, people from falling in poverty. Talking about how much benefits, or what the potential benefits that people can receive. And this year, in 2015, we know that the maximum benefit will be $2,663. But how can someone increase that if they really need to?
So Social Security does give you options, and people ask me all this time, Yolanda, is there any way you could increase my monthly Social Security benefit? And guess what? The answer is absolutely. Let me show you how. You look at your statement, you can see what your monthly benefit will be at 62. You can also see what it would be at age 70, because most people don't know that if they wait till age 70, they are now collecting 8% more per year.
Right. Think about that, because although the maximum for 2015, if someone's paid the maximum for over those 35 years of coverage that we look at in order to develop their benefit amount, if they waited, instead of taking at age 66, and they waited the 48 months, at age 70, their benefit would be $3,515. That's a huge difference.
That's really, really great, especially when you consider a couple, husband and wife, husband waiting till full retirement age, actually waiting till age 70, because if a husband in the couple, we usually know that sometimes the man goes before the wife.
Right. Statistics show us.
Statistically. So now the widow gets to inherit those delayed retirement credits, and that's huge, especially for a household.
Yeah. So it really points back that they really need to be cautious about when they're starting.
So one of the things that I tell people is not only do you need to know when you're going to apply for benefits, which is 3 months before you want to start collecting Social Security,
Correct.
you also need to know what will your monthly benefit be and make those options. So you create an account under My Social Security, check out our retirement estimators, and build endless scenarios. You've seen that, right?
Exactly.
And then the most important thing is, when should I take my benefits? I think that's been the most complicated question for individuals, and you've been with Social Security.
We get that constantly when we're out
People
there presenting.
ask us, should I take it at 62 or should I wait till 70? And it is a personal decision because I guess the simple answer is, how lucky do you feel? Because if you think you're going to live a long life, you should probably wait till age 70. But using our calculators, being informed, and I can share that we have a great publication on our website, and I know we're going to cover requesting publications, but I want to point out to everyone listening to us, my favorite publication is What Every Woman Should Know. So if you're married...
You may be biased on that, but that's okay.
If you're married, you definitely want to get this publication.
Yeah, it is a great publication. Right. I agree. And they not only can they get it in a hard copy, requested, it's also right online. They can look at the PDF right online.
See it online.
They go to our website.
And we have it in many different languages.
Exactly.
So,
now, kind of talking about that, you kind of mentioned, and we talk about our website. There was an article that I want to touch on before we jump into the 12 days of, or 12 websites of Christmas. And that is that there was a survey that was done. And if I remember, there was, 270,000 survey responses for people looking at different type of e-government or websites that government would put out there. And Social Security did great. This is in consideration of, as far as our numbers, we scored from 83 to 90. And 80s at 80 is an excellent website. So we're way above that. And if we look out in the public sector, when you see the businesses, Mercedes-Benz was at 88, Amazon was at 88, Apple at 87, FedEx at 87. So we're doing great as far as putting wonderful information out there.
And our customers love it. When they get introduced to the socialsecurity.gov website, people say, this is the most easiest website to maneuver, especially for questions and answers. People really love going to our questions and answers because a lot of the times that saves them a trip.
Exactly. So let's do that. As we kind of started, if we can back up to the first of the 12 websites, I want to go through and kind of a play on words, or the song we've all heard, the 12 Days of Christmas.
You're not going to make me sing that,
no,
right?
No,
Okay.
we won't sing it, trust me.
All
I'm
right.
not singing it at least. What we want to look at is the 12 websites of Social Security. And these are our gifts to you. So let's review them because there are some great ones. I want to start off with, as you see there, our homepage. Our homepage is set up in such a great fashion. It's easy to see. It's very accessible. It really lays out when you look at the homepage. Yes. I mean, I like it. And I like the changes that they've done. Have you had any feedback as far as our homepage and now the new change to where it's at now?
Well, I love it, and I basically work off of our website because anytime someone calls me or sends me an email and they want to know about widow's benefits, when should I collect the widow's benefits, or how much can I earn this year and still continue to work, I refer to the website, hyperlink that information, and send it back to the client. And then they get to see what the website's all about. And questions and answers, people love it.
Right. Now, you've been with Social Security 36 years.
Yes, January will be 37. I'm
Excellent.
so excited.
I've only been with Social Security 5 years, so I have